Wow, look who came crawling back, Craig.
Oh, really? I can't believe you left like that, Craig. You're a hoe. Okay,
And
that's
to
all.
everybody who, my dog is barking, that's awesome. And to everybody wondering why we're talking to Craig, that
Uh-huh.
is the name of the bot that we use to, record these, podcast episodes. And for some reason, while we were recording the same episode, he just left. Like there was no warrant or warning. He just left. And so we're recording the same episode again. So hey, what's going on, guys? Um, Due to popular demand, we brought Ultimosaic Caleb back to talk about, the apocalypse or to some the end times for episode 5. And say hello to everyone, Caleb, once again. I apologize for Craig and his rudeness.
It's okay. It's definitely worth smacking the face. No, I'm kidding. Yes, thank you all for wanting me back. I know that's definitely not because
Oh,
of April Fools or anything. I know you guys genuinely love me, deep to your core. So
yeah, for
I
sure. I mean,
appreciate it.
you're like the only guest that has been on here so far, and I'm still trying to schedule everybody else who wants to be on. But, it's just one of those things where, man, dude, that was the only cool thing about COVID when it was popular. There was like everybody was at home, everybody was like free to do stuff because, you would just work from home and you're free the rest of the day. But now it's everybody's able to move out and free without the mask as long as you get the vaccine and everything like that. So, we're slowly moving towards normality, I would say, but definitely we're not there yet. And speaking of getting to there, Caleb, how is the world going to end and how can we stop it if we can stop it?
All right, so the world's going to end. We don't know. Literally, we don't know. It could be anything. There's so many different ways the world can end. You just, I don't know, like toss a coin. You have freaking asteroids. You have disease. You have the sun exploding in what is it, 4 billion years? That's going to kill us all, or the Earth. You have freaking climate change. You have, I don't know, just, oh yeah, like
I
what
think
did I
so. I
say?
think you
Meteor,
said like space
asteroid.
stuff and
What?
things like that, the sun. So I think you did cover that one.
Awesome. Yeah, just remember, guys. I'm not intelligent,
He
so.
wears the glasses not because he needs them, but just to make him look smarter. Am I right, Caleb?
Oh yeah, you know it. Like I've been wearing these fake glasses for about, I don't know, 40 years,
Dang.
maybe 60. It works. People are always like, "Dude, can you solve this math problem?" I'm like,
No,
"No."
dang, dude, I didn't know you were that old, man. You're like negative 40 or something. It's like,
Oh yeah, dude. Like I'm ancient. Like I've been around like probably since like
yeah, I
time has
mean, dude,
started.
it's like
It's pretty
Benjamin
crazy.
Button disease. Did you ever hear about that one where that guy ages backwards or whatever? Oh, yeah, I think they made a
No, that
book and
sounds
movie.
horrible. You know what? I feel like Matt Damon should probably do that.
Yeah, I've never
I don't
seen it
know. It's
or
just a
read it
feeling.
if it was a book. I know for a fact it was a movie, but I never saw it, so I'm not really sure how it ended. I think he just dies when he's like, a fetus or something. So I don't, I don't
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it
aging
sounds about
backwards.
right. Yeah. Wait, so like this wait, so like why does he die when he's a fetus? I guess like, if he does he like would he turn back into the egg or
Oh,
the sperm or both?
oh, well, like I said,
Would he
man, like I have
separate?
no idea. I honestly think he died as like an infant or something like that. Maybe he got like a disease or something after, living for backwards, I guess. Like it's not something that
So like I'm just trying to understand like how do you
old
come out of
man,
the
I
womb,
have no idea.
like an old man?
And
Like
I would look it up and spoil it for the viewers, but I don't want to get
yeah.
yeah, I was
Maybe we
gonna be
should
like,
watch the
no, I'm not
movie.
gonna like look up the ending. If you guys want to look it up and tell us in the comments or just comment below, just be like, hey, why don't you quit telling us to watch movies and tell you how it ends and watch it yourself? Nobody likes your podcast and nobody likes you.
Oh, well, that escalated quickly.
I know, just
There
like, all
you
right,
go,
guys,
bro.
that's it.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, never seen that one. And going back to, from aging backwards to like the end of the world, some other things that, have been brought up through, like TV shows and stuff like that are like the zombie apocalypse, cyborgs taking over the earth,
Yeah, I always forget about AI. It's so popular, but like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure it could happen, but I don't think it will. Because like once we know like what the mastermind is or where the mastermind is, we can always just throw an EMP.
or
Like it's not that hard,
or just have a kill
to
switch.
kill it
Like
at
if
the
they start
source.
acting crazy, you just press one button and then boom, it's gone.
See, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, always have a big red button. Like if you don't have a big red button that like stops it, you're dumb. Like you're dumb. But the thing is that the robot could outsmart it and just disable the big red button, or um, you know, like the thing that I would be concerned about with AI is like the sneaky AI or AI influenced by humans. Because like if we have AI, because like as we become like more reliant on technology, especially AI, um, it's gonna automate certain parts of our life and also assist in helping us live day to day. So it can actually, just like spoil all the food in our fridge, just because it decided to, or more creepily, it could just like cut off people's life support, or it could make its own decision to determine that, oh, it's costing you this much money, you're this age, using variables based on your family history and your attitude and your posts on social media, you don't deserve to live. Cut.
Yeah.
And like that'd be insane. Like this, the sneaky AI or the I don't know,
Yeah, I didn't
but
even think
yeah,
about it like that
AI is
because if you think
crazy.
about it too, with humans influencing AI as well, everything is going digital, and everything is getting automated and stuff like that. Like you said, like there could be an AI in your fridge that's here, like, you know what? I'm tired of serving these people, and increase the volume and spoil all your food. But I would think if you didn't have like a robot butler or something to serve you that food, I think you would any human be smart enough to smell it and be like, oh gosh, the fridge is bad, unplug it and get it out of here. But of course, it might retaliate, but
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Like
the
the
thing
the
that
fridge
came
never
to my
forgets.
mind was,
Mhm.
what if they did that to like something that we use all the time that's really important to all of us, which is, our beds, and a human, messes with the AI and is like, all right, once they reach this age, kill them, like just whatever you got to do, just kill them to get rid of, overpopulation, because that's another way it could end, it just turns into an overpopulations fest where there's no food, no water, everything's scarce. It's going to turn into fallout without the nukes. But if the nukes do drop, I'm kind of scared of the rad roaches.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you I was gonna say,
dude.
because I don't know if
I
you've played Fallout before, but
what?
man, those things are huge, man.
So yes, I have played Fallout, and I'm not gonna lie, like this is honestly embarrassing, but I'm gonna share it anyway because I don't honestly have many fears, like other than like the rational ones that everyone fears. Like if you're walking down an alleyway at night, or whatever, you're gonna feel fear. Like that's not something I'm like actively afraid of, but I could become fearful in that moment. But like one thing that I'm irrationally afraid of, like I don't scream like a girl or anything, or run away or anything like that. But it's roaches. Like they freak me out. They disgust me. Like I don't like getting near one. I basically will not stop hunting it until it's like eradicated. Just because I hate the idea that it's like in my house or in my room or whatever. And I live in Florida, and these things are gigantic. They're already the size of rad roaches and freaking Fallout. So like the thing is like they never die. Like you have to spray like half a gallon of bug spray on them for them to even be phased. Like I freaking hit the frick out of one, and it just took it. Like they can sort like long after we're dead,
Yeah,
roaches are going to be alive. They are literally adapting to our chemicals. Um, like they're getting used to it. They're becoming more intelligent. It's annoying. Like
yeah,
they should be eradicated. Like mosquitoes have
yeah,
more of
yeah.
a purpose.
No,
I'm
it's all
sorry, I
good,
went on a
man. I mean,
tangent, but I
it's
hate
definitely as
roaches.
you said, man. Like these things are almost as tough as tanks. I think you can put them in like the microwave for like 30 minutes, and you would expect them to blow up, but no, they just sitting there chilling, and they're just like walking around or whatever, and it's just like insane. But yeah, I don't like roaches at all. Like especially if they're crawling around you while you're barefoot. Because I don't know about you, but like if you crush them with like your shoe or something, it gives you
Ugh.
that or like that, thing. And sometimes they still survive, but just trying to crush it with your foot, I couldn't do it. Like that's you couldn't pay me
Nope.
enough to do that one.
Yep,
But
never.
yeah, for sure. No, but
Yeah, I couldn't
I
agree more.
think the thing that's worse, I don't even know if I want to say it because like, can you think about it? If we get get to the point where like people like there's like a million subscribers or something like that, and you have to like go on Fear Factor or do something with your fear. You have to step on a roach without your feet or whatever, with just your feet. It's like, oh no.
Dude, I'm not doing that for $1,000,000. Like, I don't understand, like, why people are willing to do so much. Like, maybe stepping on a roach, okay, like that's $1,000,000. Okay, I'm not completely stupid, but I'm not going to eat like a freaking. I think I saw one episode where they blended them up or something and forced the contestants to drink them. Like, no, like, yeah, I don't think it's worth like just having to go through that experience, nor is it worth, because like I am at a fortunate point in my life where I actually, you know, I make enough money to like live, without the like without a super large amount of stress. So maybe that's influencing my decision. But like, no, I can never do that for roaches.
Yeah, I
Nope,
definitely agree
nope,
with
nope,
you
nope,
like
nope,
that,
nope,
but
nope.
uh, for sure, definitely would not want to go on Fear Factor. Any shows similar to that where your well-being is pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
at stake basically, and you have nobody else to blame but yourself. But since you told me one of your irrational fears, I guess I'll tell you one of mine, just out of respect. The one thing I can't stand is wasps. you know like 'cause they're always flying around, they don't do anything but kill the bees and stuff like that pollinate and give us honey and stuff like that. And I know there's probably some people on the other side of the bees where they're like, oh my gosh, you take all their honey and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I don't really know enough to not uh rebuttal against that. Like I don't really eat honey like that, so it's not really affecting me. But I do know there's health benefits and stuff like that. But if you have to take
But yeah, it's not just honey. Like bees are the reason why we are even alive because they keep all of our flowers going. They keep trees healthy. Like they
Yeah, I
do
mean, I
so
learned that
much for
from
the
the Bee Movie,
environment.
like just you just watch the Bee Movie and it basically
Oh
tells
heck
you
yeah.
everything you need to know, which I wish all school was like that, like you just watch a movie that's like really cool and funny and you get like a whole bunch of memes from it. Like man, well, one of my friends, he
Oh
could
heck
recite the
yeah.
whole Bee Movie um from start to finish, man, and it was
Oh my,
dude, I'm telling you, he would be like,
no
"Yo,
way. Why?
dude,
How do
he's on
you
another level." Like
sorry,
his
what?
his name is Matthew, and he can eat an entire apple in 2 bites. Like he showed me, when we used to go to high school together. Like he would eat one half of it and eat the rest, seed, core, and everything and all. And of course, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was kind of like, bro, there's no way you can do it. And like, if he could do it, and he lived and everything, I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And like, whenever we'd meet new people, I'd be like, hey, watch this. I would give him an apple, and he would know what to do. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that apples,
Yeah.
the seeds are poisonous if you get like a whole bunch of them. And he was only limited to like an apple or two a day just to keep the doctor away. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't torture the man and be like, all right, just eat all these apples, there's 50 of them, that's it. This could create some good YouTube content. No, but yeah, he could definitely recite, if not all of it, a majority of it. Like it was insane to me. I was like, bro, you got to do this at the talent show. It's like, bro, I don't think they have enough time here. It's
Hear ye, come here to watch
yeah,
this
for
guy
sure.
eat an apple in 2 bites. Like everyone, he just gets a standing ovation and just like, you know, Like they're just blown away. Like someone just like they literally sing an original song that they wrote and played the
Yeah,
instrument themselves, and then like
the
all
B movie.
everyone cares about is
Yeah.
him who ate an apple. Yeah, reciting the B
The two
movie and then
bites,
finishing it
yeah, for
off by
sure.
eating an apple in
And
two
that, if you
bites.
think about it, that could be another way that the world could end as well if all the bees are gone. Because I know all the insects, everything was created with a purpose. The life cycle and everything like that. Like if you have too many predators, the prey go extinct and they die off. And if you have too much prey, not enough predators, then there becomes overpopulation and stuff. And I know with bees, it's not really you know the same with, well, I guess it would be because their predators are like wasps and spiders and stuff like that. But I remember when he was suing them for taking all the honey, and they said they weren't going to make it anymore, and then pretty much everything died. And if that did happen in real life, man, it would be over because that's all your crops and everything, like everything you need to live is gone now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the everything that exists like at this moment, probably except for roaches, matters. Just like ants, like they help decompose. Some of the organic matter that dies in life. Freaking, I don't remember what country it was. It may have even been part of the United States for all I know. But there's either a city, state, country, or something or another that they basically decimated an entire mosquito population. But then the other bugs that they also dislike ramped up by like a crazy amount, and it was the mosquitoes' job basically to eat those bugs and keep them you know normal and not overbearing or destroying crops or anything like that. And yeah, that definitely came back to bite them because yeah, mosquitoes suck. Like they're gonna infect you with like random diseases because they suck on people's blood, and they get tainted blood, they can spread it, and whatnot. But geez, like everything matters. Like everything in life exists with a balance. And yeah, so like if all bees are gone, like when I was a kid, I would be like, just scared of bees because I didn't want to get stung. I have no allergy to it or anything, and I would swat them, hit them out of the way. I probably killed some bees in my lifetime, but the second I learned about it, I was like, nope. And I try my hardest. Like the only insect I harm is legitimately if I see a spider inside, never one outside, or roaches. If I see them anywhere. Other than that, I do try to capture the bugs and let them out because, like, I know that you know, for one, they're a living being, which is fascinating. For two, uh, they matter, which is crazy, and like everything matters more than we could ever imagine.
You're good.
Sorry for the long
Yeah,
tangent, but
and yeah,
what you
I
got?
appreciate your honesty and everything, but you're getting canceled for killing all those bees. Lock them up, boys. And then all you hear is FBI open up from your mic. That would be
Oh
hilarious.
no,
No, but like definitely, that was, sir. I'm gonna have to put you under
sir.
arrest. No, but that was just like I didn't even think about that until we talked about the B movie for some reason. I forgot or we talked about that, but like how the world can end through that, and yeah.
Again, hey, I got a bunch of bee homies outside that I hang out with when I go sitting out there, for a little bit, just in my backyard. So,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
uncanceled at this
It's like
moment.
he's like, I
Just to
have
throw
some
that
bee
out there. But
friends,
continue.
and they forgave me. So now you, as the audience, have to forgive me as well because you guys aren't bees. But for sure, yeah,
Yeah, it's legitimately required.
yeah. I don't.
It's
Yeah,
100%
like you, I don't
required.
really mess with
No, I'm kidding,
insects or
man.
anything if they're just chilling about their business. But if they're inside, it's kind of like it's kind of inconvenient, and it's like, send you to bug heaven, you know,
Yeah.
just get you out.
Oh, geez. But see, okay. So here's always my my philosophical quandary or thought or however you want to word it when it comes to insects because like a lot of people kill bugs like
They're
even if they're
savage.
outside just because like they see it as nothing. Yeah, they're pretty much savage. They see it as like it's a lesser being that does not deserve to exist. But my question is like if you were like if an alien species that's like so far advanced, like so far like where we're like primitive and we're like we're nothing to them, like should they deserve to be able to just smite us like without any concern? Just because they're better than us, smarter than us, they can actually travel to different space systems. They can colonize planets. They can do all this stuff. Like, do they deserve to smite us? Like, just because we're larger, more intelligent, and we feel like we have a greater purpose than them, like, do we? I don't know. Like, is it even like
Yeah.
moral or ethical to kill them? Like, I don't know. Recently, when it comes to crabs, I think at certain places it's like illegal to like boil crabs and whatnot because they've been labeled as sentient beings, which is pretty cool. Like, I mean, there's a lot of animals. Like pigs are smart. Like they're honestly smarter than dogs, and yet we eat them every day. For breakfast or dinner or lunch, and it's pretty crazy. And cows, like they have a deep sense of emotional connection, and
Yeah, it
yeah, I don't know.
definitely
It's
is
pretty
insane.
insane.
I know we didn't talk about that either, but aliens could be another way, that everything could
Oh,
go. And I honestly
true.
think, if they were doing all that stuff you were talking about, like conquering, and they're smarter than us and everything, I think they deserve just might, especially with everything that's happening nowadays. With like all the how you can basically do something wrong and there would be people defending you about why it's not as bad as something else. And there was a certain thing that happened during the Oscars the other day, and I don't want to go too much into it because I know we could definitely
Ah,
talk forever. But there was people defending on both sides of why it was right, why it was wrong. So
dude, no, like 100%. Like whoever defends Will Smith is 100% wrong. Like no matter what he's going through, Chris Rock is a comedian. He got paid to do that. He literally like roasted, made fun of a bunch of people. There have been 10 times like worse jokes told by himself and other comedians over the course of the years. And the thing that the reason why no one can say I'm wrong in this opinion is because Will Smith laughed. He literally laughed at the joke and then instantly reacted negatively after his wife didn't look too happy. Like if she was crying or she was deeply like offended, or like emotional, or just like if she went into a rage, it's more understandable, or but like literally he got a bad look from his wife and he's like, oh frick, she saw me laugh at this, or whatever, and then just went up there and hit. Like, how much is this going to affect other comedians going forward? It's really dumb because like now more people are going to feel confident to just go up there and hit someone like for a joke. Like people get roasted way worse at comedy clubs and other, like, what do you expect? It's a joke, and it was a tame one at that. Like, I don't know, because like
yeah, and I think that kind of reflects the one that I haven't touched on it yet, is about the biblical ending. And one of the things that is going to happen, kind of going with what you were talking about with Will Smith, is from 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 2, where it talks about peoples will be lovers of themselves, which we've seen, lovers of money, which we've seen as well, because there's always those quick get rich quick schemes and everything like that. Boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, and unholy. And even if you didn't believe in the Bible at all, you would still have to believe with that statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't look around the world and tell me that it's perfect. Because if it was perfect, what happened at the
oh
Oscars
yeah,
wouldn't have been a big issue. And while you can say he shouldn't have made the joke or whatever, it's like you said, he was literally up there roasting everyone. And I'm sure when Chris Rock was up there,
exactly.
oh man, he's about to go in, because people could take jokes back then. But like you
Yes.
said, his wife gave him that look, and he just went up there, smacked him,
Oh,
sat back down, dropped a couple f bombs, and stuff
and
like that, just to
exactly. So yeah, and you actually just reminded me of another thing. It's like even for the people who honestly believe that he deserved to be hit, like Will Smith should not have gotten up in the middle of it to hit him while he's on stage. Like literally, I feel like that's something you can just pull him aside the back and just be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And like honestly, just talk that through. That's honestly not something that should escalate that high. But even if you feel like it should have, no, like it shouldn't have been handled the way it was handled. So like he's still 100% wrong for doing it on
Yeah, for
stage.
sure. I
So it's like,
mean,
I don't
it's
know.
one of those things where it's a
Like,
pride thing. He's
oh,
a celebrity, and he feels like he can get away with, stuff like that. And I'm sure in the back of his mind, he didn't think he was going to get away with it. Maybe escorted by security or whatever, but,
oh, exactly. And then they just let him win, like, or they let him collect the award. I don't care that he won because I mean he did deliver like a phenomenal performance. Like that hit should not take away from the performance and necessarily the win, but I don't think he should have received it. Like I think he should have been escorted out and treated just like anyone else. Like because like I doubt Chris Rock ever had any intention to like you know press charges. So like I don't think he should like have gone to jail. Like, but he definitely should not have been able to accept the reward and just continue like nothing happened. That was really stupid. And just because he's a celebrity, like that was dumb. But you also reminded me of something when you refer back to the biblical quote you mentioned, and one thing that I think is honestly the biggest the you asked me at the beginning of this podcast as well. You asked me like what do you think is going to be the end of the world, or like what's going to cause it, or what's going to happen. So while I don't know what's going to happen, I know what's most likely causing it, and it's what's currently causing it, and it's 100% greed. It's the greed of the rich and the wealthy and the 1%. They're 100% the cause of how how things are going currently in existence. It's the selfish nature that you refer to. It's their inability to honestly just like they're basically being scumbags. Like they know every way, they know all the problems of the world, but they're basically getting rich, exploiting everyone and the world's resources. They're the owners of the oil companies that are starting wars over it, that are using it
yeah.
to pollute the planet, as well as they're also secretly building their bunkers to hide away. As the world's slowly getting worse, and you know there's so many things that the rich are doing and getting away with. It's pretty insane, but there's like nothing we can do about it currently, which is pretty awful. But it's 100% greed. Like the fact that you can't just think to yourself like maybe I should make the world better for the next generation. No, instead they're like, you know what? I'm not going to be around in 50 years. Like after I die, like as we touched on before, you're not going to have an opinion on the world. So what does it matter to you? So if you live your life to its fullest, like basically just polluting, getting rich, like screwing people or whatever, like who cares? You get to ruin the world and live your whole life, doing whatever the frick you want. It's pretty disheartening, and it's 100% down to selfishness and greed. I do apologize again for
No,
going on another tangent. I'm just like
no,
dumb,
that's all
and I
good,
didn't even
man. Like,
speak
I
clearly
definitely agree
either.
with
But
you on that because I know that, money isn't evil by itself, but the greed and love of money is what is evil. And the fact that people will do pretty much anything to, get money. I definitely totally
yeah,
100% agree with you on that is, and I honestly think that's one of the reasons people hope there isn't a God and stuff like that, because like you said, they go through life just wanting money, screwing people over, doing whatever they can to keep themselves, number one, make themselves their own God or their own idol, so that when they die, they're hoping for nothingness or, to be reincarnated or something like that. Because if you get judged after you're dead, and you didn't accept, Jesus for him to cover all the sins of everything you did to try to, save you from hell, you're kind of, done. And, I guess it's my turn to go a little bit on a tangent, but, everyone, wants to look at everything logically. We looked at everything logically from the beginning of the podcast to now, and nobody really wants to, rely on something that you can't see, talking about, things that happened way in the past that, somebody went on the cross to die for our sins, that, even if the world doesn't end in your lifetime, that if you died, you would go, to heaven and live eternally with him. And I know, of course, there's different religions that don't believe in that. Like there's, plenty, hundreds that we could talk about. And of course, I know in the field recording, me and you were talking about that, Caleb, that like everyone had like similarities and differences on how the world's going to end. But, the point is that, it's going to happen whether we're ready for it or not, because time doesn't wait for anyone. Like I believe that, there's a time already in place that, everything is going to kick off that happens in Revelations. And if you haven't read it, I definitely, recommend you read it, and if not, I'm still praying for, everybody. I love everyone. I want everybody to at least get an opportunity. And I know for a fact that's well, not for a fact, but I didn't want to, talk about like everything about that on the podcast is because like I feel like as soon as somebody hears that, they're gone. You know what I'm saying, Caleb? Like they just see where you're coming from, and everything you
Oh
say
yeah.
past that is now gone because you're a part of this and they don't agree with it. So everything you said is invalid, and it's an unfortunate thing.
Oh yeah. It's definitely sad to hear because like it's also sometimes people who claim to have an open mind that will automatically shut it as soon as they hear anything about you know religion or just really maybe a specific niche topic or just something that they don't agree with or anything like that. When it comes to truly having an open mind, you got to have an open mind. Because even if you may not care about the specifics of the religion itself, there's still stuff to be learned. 100%. So yeah, like I hope no one checks out whenever they hear something specific they don't like, unless it's like everything. If
Yeah.
it's us, you hate, and the fact that we're actually not qualified to talk about this, and that's understandable, because we're not experts by any means, but at least,
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah,
if you came here looking
definitely.
for expertise on like bees and everything like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you're in the wrong place. And, I'm sure there's a specific podcast out there, of people that actually went to school and studied it. Probably like the bees are important podcast or something like that. But I definitely do see, how, some people will just check out no matter what we're talking about because, people will hate us no matter what, like even the most perfect person in, human history, Jesus was hated. And he even said, that if they hated me, they'll also hate you too, and it's one of those things where like all these things from the Bible, that, you read about and stuff, if you as a Christian have read the Bible and studied it, is things that line up what's happening today and why, I believe that we're on the track for that one, the biblical ending, and of course all the other religions, like I said, sorry for repeating myself, but all these different religions have different ways of how they're going to die, but similarities and, other things. And we won't really know until it happens. But of course, if, it is true what it says in the Bible, you don't want to be down here for that. You want to be raptured up, be in heaven, just, chilling with God while, the world is, in its final judgment and the world, evil is finally slain. And before I give the mic back to you, I want to make it very clear to anybody who believes that, Jesus wants to send us to hell. That is not at all the case. We send ourselves to hell by not, accepting the truth and believing in all that. So, yeah, there you go. You, Caleb.
Yep. Just on that, like you don't have to include this as part of the podcast, but I am curious to know what your thoughts are, like on just sin in general. Like what you think constitutes as a sin, and what could what will prevent you from uh going to heaven? Like do you honestly believe, based on the life you've lived so far, that you will make it to
Through
heaven?
the life that I've lived,
Like
definitely not. If I
like
go based on myself, everything that I've done, no, for sure, I am not gonna make it to heaven. And I know that I believe it's the Catholics who believe that you can work your way to heaven, but I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that you just have to believe in Jesus, and that's what gives you to heaven because he basically covers all your sins that you've done. Of course, if you ask for forgiveness and you sin against the next day, that kind of defeats the whole purpose because it just shows your heart's not in the wrong place. I mean, is it in the right place? Like you're trying to be, a better person per se. Because of course we're not going to be perfect. Like
Yeah,
we can try all we want, but
of course.
I think that's the biggest benefit of him dying on the cross for us and us only believing in him because he did the impossible. Like he did, he conquered death. He when he was offered so many different things from the devil, like ownership of the earth and stuff like that, riches, water, when he was in the desert for a really long time. I forgot the specifics on how long he was out there, but he still rejected that. uh
40 days and
i
40
i
nights, right?
I think
40 days
so.
and
I don't know
40
if you want to look
nights.
that up while I'm talking, and then you can just enlighten the people because I honestly can't remember that. I think the 40 days and 40 nights was Noah's Ark, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, yeah, on that front, I don't believe that even the nicest person you could think of that would never hurt a fly or anything still wouldn't make it to heaven because in order to do that you have to believe in Jesus. And I believe that there was a quote, of course, in the Bible that talks about if you want to make it to the Father, you have to believe in me and accept me into your heart and everything. But to answer your question, and I think I will leave this in the podcast because I think some people would have that question, and to be able to answer that is really good as well. But did you find the quote?
Well, cool. I did. It is 40 days and 40 nights. It's Matthew 4, 1, that's 11. At the time, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards was hungry. So actually, I don't know if that's a quote because I think it was taken out of, like, it's the top of the search from Google, but I think that's either an excerpt from a um, whatever, just 40 days and 40 nights. So I was right. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
what Lent is and
yeah, for sure.
how long it lasts. But yes, so I wanted to briefly touch on this real quick, before I forget. When it comes to forgiveness, whether you're religious or not, something that I live by. It's a fairly simple quote, but it's one that kind of affected me forever because, um, you know, it's easy to fall under that mentality if you're religious and you are praying to God, or you're whatever you believe in, for forgiveness, or if you're just requesting forgiveness from someone else, like even yourself. An important quote to go by when it comes to forgiveness is true forgiveness comes with change. And like I said, it's fairly simple and it's kind of obvious, or whatever, but it honestly means more than you think. Because it's pretty much impossible to forgive yourself, or like you said, like if you are asking for forgiveness for your sins, and whatnot, and the next day you go and do it again, like, should you be forgiven? No. Like, and just because you ask for forgiveness again doesn't mean you will get it or deserve it. But yeah, like even if it's coming from someone else, because like, yeah, if you betray someone's trust and you ask for forgiveness, like, yeah, that's technically a step in the right direction. But they have no reason to believe you, especially if you violated their trust, unless you actually show change. And I honestly believe people can change. But yeah, I definitely wanted to touch on that because it definitely helped me because I haven't really wronged many people in my life, but I have done things that took me a while to forgive myself for because I felt like I could have done it better, or any number of reasons. And yeah, and that honestly helped me quite a lot to forgive myself because once I was able to just focus on the thing that was you know that I was asking for forgiveness for, and finding every single way I could to change it and doing my best to do so, like, yeah,
Yeah, and
change my
for
life for
sure, one of
sure.
the things we also have to remember was we're human. We mess up, and especially with ourselves sometimes. Like I think there's another quote where it's all like, your biggest enemy or something like that is yourself. Like your biggest critic is yourself. Like you criticize yourself every single day. And stuff like that. And I'm not sure what you had to forgive yourself for or anything like that, but I'm glad you were able to find forgiveness in yourself because I know some people that can't forgive themselves at all, like, and that's why they need to find something and hopefully they find, God in that, and it makes it maybe not the easiest, but it makes it easier than dealing with it by yourself.
Definitely, yeah, because it's honestly like a hard, burden. Like, yeah, I still fall to that sometimes where I'm just like, I'll just go in on myself, as if I'm like the worst human being, and I have to like slowly pull myself out of it, and not only get my perspective, or distance my mind from myself, but I also have to remember and put in the actual effort to remember, all the ways that I have changed, and to, because it's common in human nature to, for people to revert back to their child self and stuff like that. But like that also applies to trauma. A lot of, any trauma you experience, and stuff like that, you're like, that's kind of essentially what PTSD is in a way. You keep reliving that, trauma over and over, and, um, distancing yourself, and trying to put your own thoughts and feelings into perspective. It's a hard thing to do, but it is possible, especially when you're feeling down, and just, but like, yeah, you can get out of it and, overcome it for sure. It's not an easy thing to do though. But yeah, I think, um, anyone, can
Yeah.
forgive. But yeah, sorry, I kind of
No, it's all good, man.
lost track my
I
train of
really
thought.
appreciate, our, conversation. And I feel like this might be like one of the longer episodes, but, I feel like it definitely needed to happen. And maybe, we left some things out probably in the, other one that we brought in to the light here. And I'm glad we did that as well. So this probably be the episode that goes up. But, yeah, the end times, man. Anything could kill us.
Yeah, so exactly. I personally don't, necessarily believe that, the biblical, end times are here at this current moment in time. While there are signs of it, I think there have been several signs in the past, if we look through history, that could indicate, a result of the end times as well. And, since we have a bias, like, I'm not saying to discredit it at all. Like, no, if anything, like, it's good that you are aware and observant, of that. I'm just saying, like, it's also important to realize that we are always going to be biased, and, you know because we can only see from our current perspective in time, based on, the morals, views, and experiences that we're having, throughout this part in history. But, you look back, things have been worse in history, and things have been better. Like, just because, people always like to, idolize, the 50s, 60s, and, all that whole era. But there was honestly, stuff going on in the world that was not, picture perfect. And just stuff like that. And you also have like World War II in like the 40s, and, there was definitely some things from, scripture that could be applied to that, as, a potential apocalyptic, sign and whatnot. But yeah, no, that's just why I don't personally believe that currently. Yeah, it's happening, but I definitely am not
Yeah, sure. I
discrediting the
mean,
possibility, of course.
that's the whole reason that the title of the podcast, that this episode is not going to be "We're in the End Time." I honestly thought about doing like a little cringe thing where it's like "We're in the End Game," kind of like from the MCU. But I was like, nah, that'd be too cringe.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, it would be cool to open up a discussion on that is, and make that the title of Are We in the End Times, And, you gave me the answer of we're not in it. And if I was to answer the question, I would say, I'm not sure if we are like in it yet or, not into it because definitely for sure everything that's happened in the past, like you mentioned, World War II, all these bad things happen. I'm sure there was Christians that were like, man, can the rapture happen already? Because of course the concentration camps and everything like that. But I believe, God's timing is everything. And if he would have raptured up the people then the people that, the stories that we hear now of people that survived the Holocaust and everything like that. And of course, not all of them found God. Some of them did, it varies from person to person, but those stories wouldn't have been able to come out and, create stronger people in their beliefs, whether it be, in Christianity and, yourself, anything like that, I feel like we would have lost that if it was just the first sign of trouble, boom, we were all just sent back up into heaven. And that's why I kind of find it hard to answer that question of if we're in the end times yet or not. But I definitely do believe that um, you know, we are definitely heading towards that way. And like you said, there was probably some verses and stuff that have been matched up with history and nothing happened. And that's why I'm not one of those, yeah, I'm not one of those people that, it's
Exactly.
like, oh, check off the box. Oh, we're coming up to, and that,
Uh,
and I think that's why in the
yeah.
Bible, it's probably not directly stated to it, but, not to be anxious about anything and basically pray to God about everything. And that's basically what I try to do is like pray every day for people that I care about, my family and friends, the world, the people that I don't know that are in different parts of the world that bad things are happening to, like in Ukraine with the Russians invading, and that almost being World War III and stuff. And that's why I don't agree with trying to pinpoint the day that it's going to happen. You just want to live life without worry, because that's what Jesus would have wanted, is us not to worry about it, and to just live our lives and fulfill his will, which is doing whatever we got to do for the day or whatever, and doing it to the glory of him. And that even means going to work, whether it be Walmart or McDonald's, and that definitely helps you out with your morale. Like I know sometimes it can be hard for some people to be like, oh man, I hate my boss. So I don't want to do my best potential, but when you have that
Mhm.
already of wanting to do even better for a greater purpose, that's when you know you do at your complete best, and people will see that you're different than the others, and then boom, you connect with them, and then you tell them about your faith, and hopefully they believe in it, and then you one day can see them in heaven, is the way I see it. It's just like boom, everything happens for a reason.
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, like there's variables that are taking place every day, some that you have no control over, some that you do and influence, that are pretty much ever shifting and ever changing. And it's pretty fascinating to think of it like that. And just like you can't really stress about things because there is no way to like predict or know how everything's going to happen. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know where I was going with
Yeah.
that, but just imagine it was like
Yeah,
genius
yeah,
and,
for
and
sure.
awesome. The best
And
thing
just
you've ever
worrying
heard.
doesn't do anything for you. It just makes it, makes whatever you're worried about even worse. Just being like, oh man, this job interview, everything is gonna go
Oh
bad.
yeah.
I'm gonna like, I'm gonna be all sweaty when I shake his hand. Stuff like that. It just you make it worse. The anticipation is way worse than if just didn't worry
Oh
and
yeah.
cast your anxieties and stuff to do the yeah, for sure. No, but
Exactly.
do you have
Uh,
anything else?
I mean, I guess not 100% in relation to um, the way you ended it. I think you did good, and that would be a good place to stop. But I mean, I do have a little bit more on. You made me think about consciousness and how I think it's a parasite.
No, you can go ahead and say it. I
But yeah.
mean, it can't get much longer than this. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be. I'll probably have to do that now. Is you know, start. Sorry, I got a text message from my mom, and she asked me what I want from Sonic. Give me a second. But what's up?
You better. Yeah, wait, do you like their chili dogs, like their conies? You can get a foot long hot dog or whatever
I
coney. They're magnificent. Oh, and their breakfast burritos are
yeah, for sure.
magnificent.
Yeah, I'll
Just
get
get
some good food for
just
sure.
get good food.
Yes. So I mean, like I said, it can't get much longer than this. Probably be like one of our longest ones. And to be honest, I really like long episodes. So if you made it this far and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, man, this guy, they just go on forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really like this because when I was by myself, I did like 15 minutes and I was like, man, this is so short, but like, it's hard to play off. So go ahead, Caleb. Like, ignore the haters.
Mhm.
Just say what you want to say about the consciousness being a virus or something.
Yeah, so consciousness is 100% like it's kind of like a parasite. Because it's basically it could be self awareness or consciousness is the best way to put it because there's a lot of things that exist. Technically, a tree is alive. It kind of it has certain processes in it that could be comparable to a human body. I think they can experience like pain and they also like noted that they give off different frequencies and like I'm talking about like more scientific, less like being in along with the vibes of the universe. That's not what I mean, but just the fact that we're aware and we can basically make ourselves miserable because like what you were saying about like anxiety, it's one like people are living out entire like fantasy lands. Like I'm not even talking about their dreams, but like just like they will avoid people will avoid talking to other people because they played out a scenario in their head in which they failed at talking to them or they had a bad experience in their mind, something that does not exist. And it'll scare them from doing something like even something they love, like they can talk themselves out of it. Like trust me, I mean I've done it before. You ever notice how like sometimes you can you'll just do something on a whim and you'll have like the utmost confidence and you'll have a blast doing it and and whatever, and then you try to do something similar later and you're just like filled with anxiety about it. You're like, oh man, I could never do that, or I'll probably fail at this. It's kind of crazy, and the reason why I think it's like a parasite because like it doesn't fit in this world. Because like how like a lot of animals rely on instinct to do things. Like they're pretty much the whole purpose in life is to stay alive. But humans, we can literally just choose not to eat and die, or just eat ourselves to death and die. Like we can do stuff like that goes against like biology. Just like fight or flight. We can ignore fight or flight and choose to do whatever. Like an animal, they cannot. Or at least most of them. They're driven by that feeling, or they literally they have to eat this much, or they follow like a specific pattern. While most people do, like there are some people that can go against it. Like we can choose to do anything. Like I can choose to be an awful person, and I can just become a scumbag and just be a scumbag for the rest of my life, and destroy nature, and you know it's just pretty crazy, and that's why it just doesn't really belong in this like seamless ecosystem. Like we can willingly destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Like an elephant or a fish, it can't willingly destroy their environment. Like because they don't like we can know something and still choose to do it or not do it. And like I said, like we live like fantasy situations in our mind. We can become obsessed with the past. We can we can choose to end our own lives for like emotional pain, or you know just because we can convince ourselves that we're worthless or that we aren't worth living and stuff like that. And you probably rarely see that in animals. Like I think like I don't know how many animals like commit suicide on purpose. Like I know there's like some birds or whatever that will do it if their partner dies, but yeah, like I don't know. You kind of see where I'm coming from. I know it is weird and rambly, but yeah, consciousness is very interesting. And yeah. Oh,
Sure. What is it?
can I say a random fact?
No,
You kind of seem
I'm
bored
just
or
like, sure, say
disinterested.
it.
No,
Like,
what's up?
I'm just. What's the random fact?
So yeah. Apparently, they've seen elephants basically having rituals to the moon, to the different phases of the moon. And elephants can also communicate from long distances by the vibrations from walking. And elephants have very good memory, and they have the ability to. They like so there was this I don't know, explorer or something, or what? Not really explorer, but he basically worked with these elephants and spent a lot of time around them. Like he was like an elephant trainer or like conservationist or whatever. And when he died or whatever, the elephants like every year on the day he died, like they know to go, like they all go to that spot and visit him and then
Yeah.
leave. Like elephants are insane. But I don't remember where I was going with that. I do think animals can eventually be, sentient beings like us. And I think there's a lot of animals like dolphins and stuff who, like, especially as more animals are growing up around all the technology we have, I think there's a lot of different animals and species that are becoming smarter. And I think it is possible, for, some of them to basically maybe not get to the level that we are, but, at least be like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty interesting. The animals can, there's some animals that can see the reflection and not see another animal. They can see themselves and they are aware that they are looking at themselves in a mirror, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, sorry. Now I'm like, wait, like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah. So I'm not really sure how to go off that, but yeah, it was pretty cool to, talk to you about, all these different possible, you know, disasters that could happen that could, cause quote unquote end times if you don't want to get to the biblical sense of just the apocalypse or anything like the Armageddon, stuff like that. And, had a really good time talking to you. I know we didn't get in depth with everything, like who would you take with you to zombies, like it
Yeah,
would be like your survival party. Where would you go?
100%.
Stuff like that. Just because, I feel like to talk about more of the one that's more likely to happen, which we both, kind of talked about of, the biblical end times, because that stuff's insane, man. Like, I don't know if you've ever read Revelations, but just all that's like, that puts like all of Hollywood's disaster movies to shame, dude. Like, it's insane. Like, it's crazy. No, but before we end it, do you have anything else left to say, Caleb? Or
I mean, at this point, I can just ramble about, whatever the frick for forever. But no, like nothing's coming to mind. As is usual. No, I'm kidding. But yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, honestly, I've got nothing else. I mean, it has been a very interesting conversation. It's been good talking with you, and I appreciate you, letting me join again. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, man, like everybody was leaving in the comments, "Where's Ultra Mosaic? Where's Ultra Mosaic?" So I
Come,
had
come
to
on,
deliver.
come on. We can be honest here. Um, I'm about to go through, each of the comments. There's probably going to be like, get that idiot off. No, I'm kidding. No, but
I get on my alt account and just right. Where's Ultimate?
I love Ultimate Mosaic 1. I love Ultimate Mosaic 2. Yeah, like that's not going to be suspicious. No, yeah,
Ultimate Mosaic
yeah,
edits and stuff like that. That'd be
exactly.
hilarious.
Like what? No, yeah, that is a hilarious April Fool's joke. Yeah, like there's no one loves me. Like, come on, let's be real.
Oh, I love you, Caleb. No homo though. It's like no homo. Yes, sir. No, but of course, yeah, for sure. I know we definitely could talk a lot more, and I definitely do enjoy having you on the podcast. So for sure, you loyal viewers out there that enjoy Caleb being on here, and allowing the video to get a little bit longer than when I'm by myself. You're in luck because me and Caleb probably are gonna have many more episodes together. And for those people that don't like Ultimate Mosaic, deal with it. What I'm saying? Like, but anyways, man, yeah, it was really nice talking to you. Like, this was probably longer than our last discussion, which we were just talking about, how we chose our names. Like that's crazy to me.
Definitely. Heck yeah. Like I said, it definitely has been wonderful. I really appreciate it. I can throw one last disclaimer. Both of us, we know we're not experts in this field. We're just, two, you know, relatively
You guys being
two.
dudes,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we honestly, we're not experts at all.
so don't sue us.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you spread misinformation. It's like, not really. We just shared our, opinion and
Our
stuff, and yeah, and
thoughts.
our thoughts about stuff we've
Yeah.
learned and seen. But yeah, I know you guys are cool and probably open minded if you're listening to his podcast, and if you have a similar vibe to him. So cool.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I want to appreciate, Caleb once again for joining us on episode 5. And for all of you guys listening, this is probably going to be like an hour long. I'm not sure yet. But if you did go through all of this and listen, I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, but Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, don't forget to do the thing where you have, a phenomenal weekend, like just have fun, exist, and enjoy your life.
Yeah, for sure. Go and get some, Taco Bell or
Oh,
Jimmy
of course,
John's or
you,
something.
you know,
Whatever
no,
you enjoy
you have to get
eating.
Taco Bell. Like it's a requirement. Like if you don't, like
It's a
you're
requirement.
literally,
You gotta,
the world's gonna end for sure. The apocalypse.
yeah, you gotta hit the subscribe button with the Baja Blast in your
Okay,
right hand while
I
you're
wouldn't, I
pressing
wouldn't
it.
go that far. Like that's a little too much. But yeah, definitely get that Baja Blast and the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell and
Yeah, when they
everything.
bring it back.
Wait, they haven't? I thought they already
Yeah,
did.
I wish, man. I would be there right now. Yes, sir. No, but thank you guys again, and that's it.
Yep. And thank you.